Hello there, we've got a cold front on our doorstep. We've had wind gusts to 89 kilometres an hour down around the southwest Capes and also on Rottnest Island. Not very high rainfall figures around Perth so far, a couple of millimetres up at Lancelin, and Jandakot's had 1.4. Now, the maximum in the city today got to 21.5 degrees. The overnight minimum was 10.6. It's back to 18.8 now in a northerly of 19 kilometres an hour. Barometer under 1,008 and falling. Relative humidity 54%. Most locations got to 21 or 22 today. Mandurah reached 20, 18 at Dwellingup, and up to the north there was a 23 for you in Lancelin. For the state, 33 was the highest. That was recorded at West Roebuck in the West Kimberley and Kununurra in the North Kimberley. 15 at Eucla was the lowest maximum, and the lowest last night was -1, and that was out in the southeast at Balladonia. From the front in the last hour or so, Geraldton's had 14 millimetres. There's been 12 millimetres at Cape Leeuwin, and Busselton has had 8 millimetres, Bunbury 5. On the satellite images, you can see the front moving onto the southwest corner of the state. With it, there is a severe weather warning. It's for an area southwest of a line from Lancelin to Walpole. Within that area, there could be gusts to 100 kilometres an hour. Dangerous surf is expected, and there's likely to be beach erosion once again. On the chart, you can see the system moving through. There is currently gale warnings from Two Rocks around to Hopeton. The strong wind warnings extend north to Geraldton and east along the southern coastline to the South Australian border. The rainfall is going to be moderate near the west coast, but it will taper off significantly as it goes inland. Showers could get as far north as Coral Bay and across to Israelite Bay. The showers would contract to the southwest land division by tomorrow morning, and then during the day they'll be contracting to coastal parts of the southwest land division. There's likely to be thunderstorms overnight and tomorrow morning from Mandurah across to Bremer Bay. Major centres tomorrow, showers and thunderstorms are possible in Bunbury. It's going to be windy there. Albany's also going to be windy with a shower or two after the front goes through. Possible shower in Esperance, partly cloudy in Kalgoorlie, Geraldton and Carnarvon. Further north it should be sunny. Hobart's going to have a wet day of 20 to 30 millimetres. A shower or two is likely in Adelaide and in Melbourne, but probably less than 2 millimetres for both of those locations. Canberra partly cloudy, and frost is likely in Alice Springs. The other centres should be sunny. Gale warning for tonight, strong wind warning for tomorrow, with the west to northwesterlies moderating from 25 to 35 knots down to 20 to 25 knots in the morning. We'll end up with west to southwesterlies later in the afternoon of 10 to 15 knots. Seas between 2 and 3 metres, but easing in the evening to about a metre. The westerly swell should increase to 3 to 5 metres tomorrow morning. High tide's 1.3 metres. That's at 7 past 10 tomorrow morning. The low tide a little over 0.6 of a metre at 5 minutes past 8. And the sunrise at 17 past 7. Sunset at 21 minutes past 5. So the best of the rain will be during the night. The Bureau is suggesting we'll get 5 to 10 millimetres between now and midnight. Tomorrow we should get between 2 and 5 millimetres from showers. Strong and gusty west to northwesterlies overnight, moderating westerlies tomorrow. Minimum of 13 and a maximum of 20. Wednesday, possible early shower, less than a millimetre, 10 to 20 degrees the temperature range. A mostly sunny day on Thursday with a top of 21, but then it rolls in again later on Friday. Showers and thunderstorms, 8 to 15 millimetres, a maximum of 20. Eases off to a shower or two on Saturday, but it rolls back in on Sunday and Monday. Could have double-digit rainfall on both of those days.
An 18-year-old man is tonight behind bars accused of trying to rape an elderly woman in her North Beach home. Amelia Simpson filed this report.
Monica, the 18-year-old was arrested here outside the Ocean View Motel just a few hours after the alleged attack. Police say Elijah Jonathan Linton Giller broke into a nearby home around 4:20 yesterday afternoon, assaulting the elderly woman inside. His alleged victim, 93 years old. It's understood the Gosnells man was staying at the motel and had checked in on Thursday. The motel's owner told 10 News First that after the arrest, police told him a very serious assault had taken place. Today, the 18-year-old appeared in Perth Magistrates Court, charged with attempted aggravated sexual penetration without consent, aggravated indecent assault and aggravated burglary.
A crime against an elderly woman alone in her own home is almost indescribable. I can understand the community concern, indeed outrage, at this reported crime. I want to reinforce my thanks to the police who were able to apprehend the alleged perpetrator within hours.
Monica, the 18-year-old's bail wasn't considered in court this morning and he was remanded in custody to reappear in a month's time.
Amelia Simpson there. WA will again lead the country in getting life back to normal. From this weekend, Phase 4 restrictions will come into effect, but the border reopening could still be months away.
Leading WA's road to recovery, Mark McGowan says we're on track for an economic boost.
Phase 4 is another giant step for our state.
From Saturday, restrictions will be eased even further as life slowly returns to normal.
So that means from Saturday, we can all enjoy a beer standing up at the bar.
The Phase 4 changes mean almost all maximum gathering limits will be scrapped. Food and drinks for standing patrons will now be allowed. Major venues like Optus Stadium can operate at 50% capacity. Gyms can operate unstaffed and the casino gaming floor can reopen, though there will be restrictions.
From this Saturday, we're pretty much back to our normal style of business, which for us has come much quicker than we thought.
If there's no major outbreak, we can expect Phase 5 restrictions on July 18, and it'll mean major events can start up again at full capacity.
We'll see jobs returning to the hospitality sector in the bucket loads.
The Premier says he had planned to reopen WA's borders in early August, but that's now in doubt with a surge of coronavirus cases in Victoria. Lee Steele for 10 News First.
The relaxed restrictions will also see crowds return to Optus Stadium. That could mean a Western Derby blockbuster when Freo and West Coast return from the Gold Coast.
When it comes to AFL, WA could soon play host to the biggest crowds in the country. Optus Stadium allowed to operate at 50% capacity from this weekend, and within 3 weeks, 60,000 fans could fill the seats.
Swings on to the left and swings it through.
Western Australians will hold the largest crowds in the country by far.
The return of large crowds in WA means a Western hub is a lucrative option for the AFL. An announcement is expected in the coming days, but it could all hinge on what happens at Essendon. The entire Bombers list tested after Connor McKenna was diagnosed with COVID-19.
But we're making very good progress. I expect within the next 48 hours we'll be in a much better position. We want to wait and see what the outcome of the Essendon testing is, and we'll continue that dialogue with the AFL.
The first game back at Optus Stadium is likely to be the Western Derby, with all AFL teams who travel to WA to be allowed to play games during their quarantine. Steph Baumgartel for 10 News First.
Victoria continues to be the coronavirus hotspot of the nation, with another 16 cases identified today. Health officials have identified 6 local government areas to be avoided in and around Melbourne, now classed as no-go zones, affecting around 1 million people.
The early signs are that it's not escalating at the moment. We have to make sure that it's brought under control.
The Victorian Government says it will also deploy special coronavirus squads to patrol the worst affected areas to offer advice to residents unsure about current restrictions. A fresh search is underway for clues into the disappearance of William Tyrrell. It's related to a suspect in the case, one who is already in prison for child sex offences.
Led by the strike force tasked with investigating William Tyrrell's disappearance, SES officers and riot police descended on this rural property today, scouring the bushland for any clues. The property is just metres from where convicted pedophile Frank Abbott was living when the toddler vanished. Abbott is now in jail for child sex offences, and he's long been a person of interest in the case. He became a focus for detectives last year, and they've since done extensive searches in and around the 2 properties where he previously lived in a caravan. The inquest into William's disappearance has since heard extensive testimony connecting Abbott to the case, including several locals who testified about his disturbing behaviour before his arrest.
Frank Abbott is not a nice person. That's about all I can really sum it up. Look, he scares me. He still scared me in that damn stand.
Searchers today brought in chainsaws to get through the thick undergrowth and used a cadaver dog to scour the area. 10 News First understands police are also investigating a report from a neighbour who was living in this area in September 2014, claiming they heard a scream the day after William disappeared. Today's search area is about 10 kilometres from Benaroon Drive in the nearby town of Kendall, where William was last seen almost 6 years ago.
A woman who sparked a Perth-wide search after she allegedly snatched a toddler has appeared in court. Kimberly J. Burden is accused of taking the 2-year-old from her pram in a Palmyra park yesterday. According to police, she and the child then took a train and a bus across the city. The child was found in Girraween. The 28-year-old will front court again next month. Defence lawyers have dismissed links between a cemetery rape and the Claremont serial killings. Bradley Robert Edwards has admitted abducting the woman and attacking her at Karrakatta, but denies being a murderer.
She was snatched as she walked home from Claremont, bound, gagged, driven to Karrakatta Cemetery and raped. It's alleged Bradley Robert Edwards planned to kill the 17-year-old girl after he sexually assaulted her in February 1995 before he was disturbed and the victim escaped. But today, Edwards' lawyer argued if he wanted to kill her, she would have been dead. She was completely in his power. He could have killed her there, or he could have taken her away and killed her somewhere else. The state's case relies on the Karrakatta offences to prove Edwards had the skill and tendency to abduct women from Claremont. But today, Mr Jovich highlighted the differences between the cases, saying there were potentially multiple predators in the area at the time. He says there's no evidence the Claremont victims were bound or gagged and no pathological evidence they were sexually assaulted, claiming those women were likely lured into the car, not abducted in a so-called blitz attack, as was the case with the rape. And the bodies of Jane Rimmer and Kira Glennon were found more than 40 kilometres from Claremont, while the Karrakatta victim was assaulted just 3 kilometres away. The trial is expected to wrap up later this week. Claire Durl for 10 News First.
The future of Virgin Australia could become clear within days. Administrators have now received final offers from 2 bidders, Bain Capital and Cirrus Capital. The Queensland Investment Corporation has been in advanced negotiations with both. Administrators say the size of the airline will depend heavily on demand from customers as travel restrictions ease. The winning bidder is due to be selected next Tuesday. There's been a big increase in the number of people interested in building a home in WA following the government's housing bonus announcement. Experts predict it will be enough to bring the industry out of a 6-year slump.
It's been more than 5 years since display homes have attracted huge crowds.
Yeah, it's been pretty tough for Perth-based businesses.
The industry had begun to bounce back when COVID-19 struck.
We were expecting to do 20,000 starts this year, but when COVID hit, we saw projects going on hold or being cancelled.
That forecast was then downgraded to fewer than 10,000 new homes. But with a huge uptake of the $20,000 state and $25,000 federal government home building grants, the HIA's latest outlook shows almost 16,000 homes will be built in the next financial year.
Doing fewer than 10,000 starts would have put thousands of jobs at risk in Western Australia and potentially seen businesses that are based here pack up and not come back. So this is fantastic.
The week after the building bonuses were announced, the industry saw a 132% increase in the number of people visiting display homes. Experts predict the September quarter will mark an end to a 6-year-long downturn.
Well, a busy home would get, say, 30 groups on a Sunday or a Saturday. Now they're getting 60 to 80 groups through the homes. The response has been immediate and quite amazing.
Cuts to red tape in approvals and a push for interstate FIFO workers to relocate to WA will also help the recovery. Jessica Brown for 10 News First.
Goss is back with more sport and the good news for WA footy.
Here is good news, absolutely. Judging by the form of Freo and the Eagles, they can't get home quick enough. And today, the Premier has opened the way for the fans to soak up the action at Optus Stadium.